Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today we talk about wudu, ablution. And the meaning of ablution is to wash some parts of the body. As we know that ghusl is to wash all the part. Ghusl means, as we say, taking a bath, bathing. So all the body should be involved in this. But as for wudu, no. Some parts of the body. And taking wudu always, or keeping yourself with a state of wudu, number one, it is a fortress. It is a light. And that light is in itself a fortress to the servant of Allah against his enemy, jinn or ghost. In addition to this, it is a sign of Iman, as the Prophet ﷺ said, وَلَا يُحَافِظُ عَلَى الْوُضُوءِ إِلَّا مُؤْمِنٌ. And no one that keep constantly, regularly performing wudu, but he is a mu'min. As for the Quran, Allah the Almighty said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق. O you who had believed, if you stand for prayer, then rinse your faces and hands to the elbow. وامسحوا برؤوسكم. And rub your heads, just like that. One go and one back, just like this. And then the ears. وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ. And rub your heads. Now, there is a connection between the feet and the faces and hands. But the word rub your heads had come in between. Therefore Allah said, and your legs until the ankles. Look, the hands until the elbows, the legs until the ankles. There is a similarity. But the word your head, rub your head, had come in between. So this delay, it happens sometimes in many ayat. Saying this because some people think that you should be rubbing your feet just like rubbing your head, which is not true. Because Allah said, وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ. He did not say وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ. If he said وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ, it will be following the rubbing of the head. But he said وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ, which follows وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ, as we say in Arabic, مَفْعُول بِهِ. And the مَفْعُول بِهِ is mansub. That means there is fatha on top. While rub your head, it is maksur, kasra. وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ. So arjulakum does not follow biru'usikum, because it follows it, it will be وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ. Saying this because, the Shia say that no need to rinse the feet, thinking that وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ and your feet, it follows the case of your head, which is not true. What supports this also, that the Prophet had seen some of his companions rubbing their feet. Then he said to them, وَيْلٌ لِلْأَعْقَابِ مِنَ النَّارِ. Woe to the back of the feet from hellfire. Then after hearing this from the Prophet, they started to rinse and wash the feet, not rubbing them. So this correction given to them from the Prophet ﷺ, it's evident that we should be washing the feet, not only rubbing it. The preference and excellence of wudu was indicated by the Prophet, or manifested by the Prophet, peace be with him, when he said, مَنْ تَوَضَّأَ فَأَحْسَنَ الْوُضُوء. Whoever performed wudu and made it perfect, improved it, enhanced it. خرجت خطاياه من جسده. His sins will be exiting, will be coming out from his body. حتى تخرج من تحت أظفاره, until it will come out from beneath, under his nails, his sins. Now this hadith is authentic, narrated by Muslim. He also said, ما من مسلم يتوضأ فيحسن وضوءه ثم يقوم فيصلي ركعتين يقبل عليهما بقلبه ووجهه إلا وجبت له الجنة. There is no Muslim that performs wudu and made it best, good. Then he stands for prayer and he performed 2 rak'ah. Turning by these 2 rak'ah, turning by them, through them, by his heart and his face, that means to Allah. That means the heart and the face are turning to Allah, both. But paradise will be obligatory for him. Obligatory for him. This hadith also narrated by Muslim. Also he said, إِذَا تَوَضَّأَ الرَّجُلُ الْمُسْلِمِ, if the Muslim man had performed wudu, خرجت ذنوبه من سمعه وبصره ويديه ورجليه, his sins will be ousting from his ear, from his sight, from his hands, from his feet. فإن قعد قعد مغفورا له. Then if he sits, he will be sitting while he is forgiven. That means sitting after finishing the prayer. If he sits, then he will be sitting while he is forgiven. This hadith is narrated by Al-Mundhiri authentically. Sheikh Albani had authenticated it. Now, sometimes, in many times, I'm going to use the word authenticated by Al-Albani. Albani is a great scholar of hadith who died maybe 5-6 years ago. But he was known to be the greatest scholar ever in the century. There is another hadith where the Prophet, peace be with him, said, إذا توضأ المسلم فغسل يديه, if the Muslim performed wudu, so he washes his hands, كفر عنه ما عملت يداه, it will be expiated for him what his hands had earned. فإذا غسل وجهه كفر عنه ما نظرت إليه عيناه, then if he rinsed his face, if he washed his face, then it will be expiated for him what his eyes had been watching or seeing, which means something that Allah forbids, such as women. وإذا مسح برأسه كفر عنه ما سمعت أذناه, and if he rubbed his head, rubbing the head also include the ears, because ears are part of the head, as the nose and the mouth are parts of the face, so the ears are part of the head. So if he rubbed his head, then he will be forgiven what his ears had already heard. فَإِذَا غَسَلَ رِجْلَيْهِ, see, now he said, then when he washes his feet, see, before he said when he rubs his head, now when he washes his feet, it will be expiated for him what his feet had walked, that means wrongly, going to forbidden place, etc. Then it will be forgiven for him what his feet had earned or stepped wrongly. This hadith is also narrated by Al-Mundhiri in At-Targhib wa Tarhib, and Sheikh Albani authenticated it. Now you can see that the hadith explains what may not be clearly mentioned in the Quran. So no one should be saying that no, rubbing the feet is enough, not washing. The Prophet here is saying then if he washed his feet, he will be forgiven what his feet have been stepping wrongly, falsely. So this is the significance of wudu. Let's come now to the conditions of wudu.